Tashidele. Tashidele, the word is very useful when you meet the Tibetans. If you don't know, somebody Tibetan is walking, some monks are walking on the street, then you can say, you want to say connect something. So you say, Tashidele bridge to build, Tashidele is so nice, auspicious, So the auspicious is greeting that the best kind of words. In India that you say what? Namaste. Namaste, that that. Namaste is exactly same as Tashidele, comprehend everything. So let's say that, I just wake up and just had some good dreams, bad dreams, all together. Dreams are dreams. Having dream in the sleeping is supposed to be a nice health. It's health-wise, it's really good to have a lot of sleeping, and then within in the deep sleeping that you have a good dreams. That also can consider as a quality of the dream is good. And so whenever you have a dream, it's good or bad, that doesn't mean good and bad, And sometimes people get some kind of weird dreams that you wake up and then you just wondering about all day, sometimes, gee, that I had some kind of funny dreams. So that letting you, some kind of thoughts that unnecessary, and the dream is just a dream. They say in the Tibetan, the village, people said there would be a kind of endless dreams in your life, and almost every possible thing that you are going to have dreams, except what they say, you cannot dream frying food in your hand. So just like that, that's some type of Tibetans that believe, that wouldn't be possible. And then there's another one is called your forehead, something that I don't dare quite, I forgot that it's kind of impossible things that, anyway, that's it. So the dream things that comes out, all kinds of things. Of course, that I know, that dream associated to where you are culturally born. And so that you have your own culture, and you have a completely, your own cultural things that are dreams, and I have still dreams about in Tibet. Yeah, then it's also dreams that how many lifetimes in spending in the different countries. In my case, I spending more than in Tibet, in the West, and so begin to changing my dreams also in some kind of West, and so that the dream, and sometimes the dream associated what you eat, and so that if you have some kind of contaminated kind of food, and then that also affects to your dreams, and so and I don't know, that's I don't know. Last yesterday afternoon, something I ate it. We had a lunch together, and so and that sometimes affected to my dreams, and so so the dream is in many ways to get a dream. That's it, and then also. Dream association, dream yoga is that we talk about. Dream yoga is so important. During the important teachings that you involved in the like Vajrayana, the tantric teachings and the initiations, that you received from your gurus, and then they explain to you that dreams. And a dream, you can read the dreams. It explains dreams of how, they explain it. So anyway, the dream that is in that explanation of the dreams are kind of more uh, culturally kind of connected with the better dreams, like eating good food and associated with you have good friends and talking to them and walking towards to beautiful places and walking up to the hill and no different difficulties and so those are the sun shining and all kinds of we consider this a good dreams, good things in our society, this. So that's the kind of thing is supposed to be good. And the bad things, of course, then you coming down from the hill and falling down from the hill, the cliffs and things like that, or riding a camel from the backwards, or and riding a camel on the top of backwards and talking to some sort of a dark man or something and chasing by the animals or chasing by police or chasing by all those things are bad dreams. So then what are you going to do? Do you feel all day, next day after initiation, you feel bad, and so you have to so then you go to see teacher, and you have a teacher who can explain that teacher needs to be very smart way able to explain that to get not involved into getting worse. The person who is having to dream like that, and then there is some then there is compassion prayers or the cleansing of the some negative things. So the was sort of practices and put more time to practice dharma. Practice dharma to kind of helping yourself to clear out and things like that, the kind of thing we explain that's help us. And sometimes this is good, to having good bad dream, and so then you can do the more practice, and then after that intense practice, then you kind of clear out. Then you will have a next time you will have a good better dreams and again. So and and those things, and then some other things like a dream yoga uh, is just there are many ways to practice dream yogas, and there are some of the preliminary practices in dream yoga is that you just write it down. Any kind of dreams that ordinarily that you just write it down in a piece of paper, and I'm sure some people interested doing that. Collection of your own dreams. That being doing that is kind of writing down, as that makes some sort of a awareness to build up some better uh, and it's kind of doing exercises. So the exercise that let you know that maybe in the future, then you can guide yourself through the dreams. You can do all kinds of interesting things. And some of the lamas, they advance the dreams. They can also, they're busy, very busy daytime and daytime teaching, and so, and then they didn't have time to doing study or reading text, important text. And then the lamas are sometimes that go through the dream and then go to the search of the text, and the study we're reading through your dreaming into the learning that whatever there's looking for some teachings, precepts that you needed to know that through the text in your dreams, you can, while doing that sort of thing, doing controlled. And so some of the dreams are emphasized to, dream leads to you, the deeper situation of probably that is to say death. When you begin to so-called death, and during the process of a death, then you can end up in a bardo, in an intermediate state, in that will lead you to helps to improve that what's happening in that state of intermediate state, that you can also guide to that the dream practices advanced, that you can lead to during your sleeping, that to practice in progressively, that you can learn in your death and process, so that some of us, I myself is also, concerned about what's going to be happen to my soul consciousness. And so each of the people we have and soul and consciousness, that you can, cannot deny that this is, and so situation of the transforming or transcending to the lifestyle of the life and death is kind of there is always together, and it has to follow that dark and light and together, sort of speaking, so that whatever this is happens, that if you kind of, while you are just capacity in the brain is so associated, so good, learning things, that while you have a physical brain, that's a kind of a tool, or the things that you use it. And then the brain is some kind of, to me, is a kind of awarenesses that can, for example, simply saying that preparing some food. And so then that you go to the shopping and done this and that, you can get all you wanted to cook food, and so that you gather all these things in the soul, your mind awarenesses that you employ in your brain, and so that then the brain that kind of reacted to that, and so then so you can get the food a proper way of cooking and testing and so on and so forth, satisfaction. And so that similar to that, meditation that you and I doing it, that it is use the brain, of course, that, the modern scientists, people did things that the brain is really who you are. And that's so the Buddhist, there's this kind of, way of thinking is the brain is a kind of a tool, and that there's an agent is a different, slightly different than your brain, so your body, your five skandhas, and sometimes people talking about the argue about the Atma and the ancient Brahmins, a knowledgeable person, ancient time, they're talking, they're only one who is they is taught wisdom and to the communities of the early history of humankind in India, and so, and they think that they are something kind of understood everything, and so they also say some different things, and so many things that history of the mankind in history of contains, and the container of all that thing is um, the nu and the ju, right? The nu is a container. It's called a nu, like a cups, or the place to their place is a kind of new, and then ju is the people who lives in there, human beings, and any kind of a species to live any kind of like a growth of a essence, growth of any kind of trees and flowers and grass and everything. And that is a kind of we say it in Tibetan word is kind of ju, which is essence of that in the contents. Is so that all these things are through the Brahmins, that they think from the God, that there are several gods, God is kind of permanent up there, then the knowledge is that they got it from their God, so that, and so that the Brahmins have become really something that interpreted all the how's happening, what's happening. So that's sort of thing that happened. Some of them, reading text, through the language, and they'll put it in the text in the writing down, and so there's some about them have some change in the modern, in the 21st century, that our mind is different and much more kind of faster, maybe learning, the curiosity, a lot of things, and so that there are a lot of things available, learning things, but learning, basically learning is you learn how to, what your mind is to learn yourself, learning yourself, your mind is, and how you watch, how you're walking, how you're eating, and so on and so forth. And so how your behavior, what are you doing right now, and also check these things, and there's no any good and bad notion of that, but just being relaxed and checking that I'm checking myself at this point, and relaxing, and there's no any notion of like bad and good and something like that. It's just relaxing and check, and then learning it, and the infinite knowledge is not outside, but in the learning inside of it. And so the inside of your mind is infinite, so therefore learning never exhausted in a learning situation. And so then it becomes, you learn and you become a good teacher, and then you have a good students, and so then it's how it works that way, and all you become your teacher. You are yourself your teacher, and you just once you all the remember things, what you did, thinking and process, all that is pure, and the knowledge, and then you become a good teacher, and you can teach then all your around surrounding people, and so once you also consider the meditation is very simple meditation that is based on a compassion, so to compassion. Chamba and Nyingchi, that words are so, I want you to kind of convey that words, the Tibetan words. Tibetan words are, Tibetan language is kind of dying or kind of absorbing, this through the times so so it's a kind of a language that's a important language. You need Dharma language and the Dharma is philosophy and Dharma language, and this is kind of a chamba, the compassion. Nyingji is the benevolence and feelings, and then Chengju Sem. Chengju means bodhicitta, an enlightened mind. So the enlightened mind of compassion is for benefiting all sentient beings through liberating the all of them from the ocean of misery of samsara, and so that is called bodhicitta, enlightened mind. Chengju Ji Sim, Chengju Ji Sim. Sim is what? Sim is consciousness. And Sim all has to do with your Sim. And and those, so that Sim, then you can analyze to that what is that Sim, where am I, where that Sim is inside of me in some ways, and then you can kind of divide or examine and chase them, where is whatever, then so on and so forth, practice. And then you cannot find it, that just Sim is, there is no way to find, no way understand, there is no way to understand that the nature of that mind is all Sim. And the Sim Yatana Hado Yisumi, remember? If you examine your mind, then there is no color or shape or size, everything. And beyond that, so that then, so it's not a nihilistic view of it's that, but that's the way it is. And after you kind of understood that the intrinsic nature of that, and then there's a kind of space needs that where that you can kind of pause your mind, or just rest completely, total understood. Now maybe you can say that you understood that your mind, and so also you understood. Then in that way, the light and the emptiness, shunyata, because of that conceptual of the exercise, practice of the compassion, Chamba and the Nyingchi, foretold to all mankind, all sentient beings, whoever who has a Sim mind, whoever has some kind of mind of that, he has feelings, and so that would be to extend it, to aware about it, so you know that your mind and my mind is exactly same nature of that, but it's a slightly different thinking, which is because we belong to a different culture, and it's influenced by others, called influenced by others. Xianwang is called Xianwang. And Xianwang and Yongzhu is called. This Yongzhu means that that's who you are completely. one who understood completely, total awarenesses. And the Xianwang is one you don't know yourself confused instead of that. And then it's called, you become a Xianwang. You are controlled by others. The other is so the other is a misunderstanding of it. They so misunderstand myself. So then I was attached to it. Oh, I'm a real thing. I'm just I have a body and I want my name. I am the Lama. Well, I'm just a person, and then so on and so forth. And then from that, habitual things. Habitual is like a pakcha. Tibetan habitual is called a pakcha. And a pakcha is kind of a habitual thing that we do have very strong pakcha. And you as born in a Western culture and very strong in that nature of that your parents, from that blood and semen, and then has carried that pakcha of the history of the culture in the West or whatever. And so then temporarily, then you are born in between that blood and the father's and the mother's thing. Then you temporarily, you are completely adapted, printed pakcha about your ancestors. And so then you have this strong pakchas in West pakchas. Oh yeah, it's Easterns are really, I cannot be Eastern people, but I like to be the Western people and so on and so forth. Then you learn the cultural things. But there's things happening in childhood, and then if I am born into your womb, that I'll be, and the same thing, oh, this is Asian guys. Not really, that this is different skin, ugly, and so on and so forth, all this and such. Then temporarily I'll be in a perfect your child who is carrying on your culture and everything. And so that's the thing is kind of in the samsara, that's happening. And so that's the thing, is the secret of the style of that culture, existence of samsaric thing, and down to the point that you have a laughter. You look at that, say that. So the kind of learning awarenesses is somehow. And to make it a kind of understand the intrinsic nature of pakcha, the habitual things controlled by others, because it's controlled by mother's womb and the eggs, and controlled by father's semen, and all that thing is things. Helplessness. There's no. So what's happening is because of my personality of a being that sentient, that sim, my consciousness, pakcha is carried, but then the gross level of pakcha is no longer exist. And only that I'm just inside of the partu, it's called. Partu is you just between the future and the past in that hang. And that is so take it out. And so I just forgot all my pakcha of being born in Tibetan or Western culture, habitual thing, pakcha. I forgot everything, because it's all that is a kind of is a control the others. The other itself is also not permanent. When we're talking about the others, which means that the mother's womb and the father's semen and all these things is not permanent. Things are also it's illusion. So, but that what happens and then is just want to come down to the point with a single cell. Remember last time I was talking about a single cell of your consciousness? That's right. That's a time, at that time, there's nothing else to remember. And but except there's one that needs to be somewhere. I'm kind of I need somewhere to protect myself. So that going chasing and kind of craving, and that the craving starting is that and it's so so that is craving. It leads to the becoming. So that is saying that what I'm saying is now it's so being born as a that paksha. So they maybe if you are really good concentrating, understanding you and control your sim consciousness, sim control yourself. If you understand, you are that boss, you are that you know how to do it, like a riding a horse. Trained your mind. And so then what happens is that that the intermediate state of that single cell of a consciousness is trained. There is a paksha, another paksha that we made it. And through the meditation, through the awarenesses, and then it's that helps to, even though we have fall into the wombs of a sentient being, whereby it could be like a human beings if you're lucky, if you are lucky, if you're in dogs, birds, insects, any kind of thing. That awareness is paksha is kind of much lighter and heavy. There's no heavy paksha. So then it's really, if you are born as a human being, then you will come out much more interesting child. So child is completely different, and there are some lot of that in our society, in the modern society, there are child is born in a very, very interesting and learning capacity. Learning is so easy. Learn and everything is kind of rules by itself. And Tibetans, the lives of lamas, great lamas, a lot of biographies. And there's so many hundreds of thousands of biography of lamas and teachers. And when you read it, those child is incredible. Child, how did this happen to this child? And so that's what happens. And that's going to be happen to us. You and I, and same thing is with the great others. And that's it for sure. Definitely, that's for sure. And so let's say think that way. And then we said kind of start with the meditation with the regular. Those things sums up to the place where we are meditating. And through the meditation starts with the refuge prayers. And the refuge prayers is refuge is Jamdo. Jabdo is called Jabdo or Jamdo. The pronunciation is slightly different in the colloquial, it's Jamdo. But the classical way, but grammar, way of saying Jabdo. But anyway, that's a seeking refuge. Yepto. So that then, of course, you and I, as the beginners, and I, and a beginner, that I kind of I understand some because of reading from the text. You learn something, and maybe you can hear from the teachers something that you learn something. Does mostly, as we said, that you learning from the text, which is kind of limitation. They are reading books about limitation. It does help a little bit. It does, but isn't but reading reading yourself. Watching everyday life is the most important thing, and you can learning so much things deeper, meditating, learning how to meditate, how to, so they all you need is to who are we, and who and what purpose of meditating. Am I a fear of something, or am I a fear of death, or fear of something changing, or do I need it or not? Well, probably is the best thing is you need it, because of the smart person is that you need it, is prepared. But if you don't know anything about it yourself, and so most likely we don't know too much ourselves at this point, and only sort of so then kind of psychologically that there is a possibility to learn myself to the basis of that, the basis of the history of the ancient Tathagata Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. They have been gone through that learning themselves, and they told themselves they become free of that, and then they were talking about that their experience and the teachings, so that maybe that is a ways to go. And so we just go through that, and then of course we look for the proper place to take a refuge, come to Kip. And it's not a wrong kind of a place, but there's someone who experiences perfectly, someone who knows exactly, someone who did research on your mind, and and so that is kind of a, as we are Buddhist, Mayan Buddhist, and then we just think that way. Buddha and Dharma is teaching, Sangha is those of ancient time followed with the Buddhist instruction teachings, and somehow they satisfied, and they take care of themselves, and maybe it's manifesting as because of the Bodhisattva way, is it, and they may not be gone somewhere, enjoying some places, not like that. But that the thing, the total free of themselves, and for the purpose of sentient beings. Knowledge is so important. So the knowledge is that this way of freeing the unwanted sufferings, physical, mental, and the mental, particularly mental, where that we mentioned about the single cell of being bewildered, a single cell of some sort of thing. So bewilderment is the problem. That may be, and through the knowledge that we solve the problem of that, And then it's going to, once you solve that problem, and then it's called liberating. And you become a Buddha, you become an enlightened being, you become a Bodhisattva, Avalokiteshvara. And through that, then all your job is continue without tirelessly. There's no time and space. Everything is just automatically done. So the automatic things that are done for the benefit of all mankind, okay? So that is what we needed to do that. We need a lot of things to do this small world, planet of Earth, human beings there will be until the world is still remains as it is for the next how many billion years, a million years uh, uh, exist here. There will be like sentient beings all the time, and gone and coming, and also the all those things. We will be there all the time, and helping and liberating, and that's the idea. And so we have no problem ourselves, and we're just leading them all the place of where there is to come problem, no problems. And so that's things refuge, Bodhicitta, enlightened mind. So we're thinking that we say that's prayers on Sangye Choden Tsoji Chonamala Changju Badu Dani Japsu Chi Daki Jinso Jiba Didaki Dwalai Penchiri Sangye Drupasho Sangye Chodan Tsoji Chonamala Chonju Padu Dani Japsu Che Daki Jinso Jiba Didaki Drula Penchiri Sangye Drupasho. In the Supreme Buddha Dharma and the Sangha, unto enlightenment I take refuge. Through the prophetic wisdom may I attain the Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. So at this point that we are supposed to kind of visualize that there's in your mind there is all the wisdom that manifested in Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and all the good stuff thing is kind of appeared in this space where that for you, for me, and for you, and for everybody, the meditators, that they are there, and the great teachers, and the wise people, and the positive people, and everything is there, shines, everything, and the radiating the lights of wisdom and the compassion and powers of everything is a kind of and imagine that and then the goddess and goddesses are also offering flowers and all kind of these things that are absorbing into yourself, and but all the rest of us as human beings, sentient beings, that around us, that today that we live together in this world, and they are there, that they also they are also they would be being born as each other's womb, and that they also they gave it a lot of love. So although we forgot that ignorance, so that we must do something to that they just that we've been being falling into this through the samsara circle of existence of samsara, and then they are also being born like that. That's the sort of thing, and so that the kind of a lot of kind of understanding and the kind of understanding of that all uh, things that sort of the Tathagata Buddhas and Bodhisattvas knowledge and the wisdom that we wants to share it, and that absorb first to share to ourselves to absorb all the things. We understand that the boundless mind, that mind has no color and shape, and in this little essence of that is kind of a probably is underlying just light of wisdom and love, compassion, and that's all you need is to know that who we are, and then because through that meditation, that the power of the meditation that manifests in the form of lights, and then as a kind of get absorbed into the but all sentient beings that there's this moment that there are a lot of sentient beings, human beings that throughout the space and in this planet of Earth, and then there's so on and so forth. That we do have a continent and the so-called West and the East and the West, and so the other continents, the human beings. They are wants to basically they want to be free and happy and joy, and each of those sentient beings exactly the same. They want to free of self misery and free of some rights of a that we call the human beings human rights. So they need sentient beings rights to live and happily, and so that's their notion of that is basically the same. That they don't know how to do that, because then they fight for each other's kind of grasping, and so that's the problem of that misunderstanding of that. So there's no need to fight over everything, just to relax everything, just like a meditating. All sentient beings wake up their dream like state of a misery of sentient, and they're going through that six realms of sentient beings. There are some kind of realms where there is maybe uh, peaceful temporarily things that maybe there's not quite kind of awakening state of mind. And so then they're down to the hells, and then there's hot and cold and nightmares and the dreamlike state. And we do have some kind of these things in our in everyday life, and so that everything is all illusory things that are not needed to let them to seize everything like a clouds moved away from the blue sky. Sun is shining and so very nice and peaceful and infinite light of your own self is that was positive and possessed and situated in that manner and meditate peacefully. That's all you needed. there's a point that everything is okay. Everyone is blessed by wisdom and compassion from the Tathagata Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all. Everything went very well, and from your heart is also extended rays of light, and then everything is dark. The dark and the light, the light. The dark and the light of mind is everything is becomes two in one. Then this rays of light. That is awareness is everything is everywhere, free of all miseries. The bad dreams, I wake up and there's kind of dreamless state of a dreamless state, and like so that so then the next one is practice of a four-boundless mind that is based on the sentient beings throughout the universal level, the boundless, wherever there is a space, a sky, under the sky, that limitlessly sentient beings there. And that so they extended your compassion, loving kindness to infinitely to that, and also blessings of that the wisdom and the compassion and the power, everything distributed everywhere. And it would become that Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara Bhagavajarasi. Bhagavajarasi is a manifestation of all the Tathagata Buddhas, and is a kind of a Nirmana Kaya form of that. And a little beautiful thing ourselves is reflected to that, just like a mirror image of a Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara Bhagavajarasi. And and so it manifests everything everywhere and touched the heart of all sentient beings. And then we say the 7 point, the four boundless mind practices together. Samje damje deva dan deve jodan demba juruje. Samje damje dunga dan dunga jodan chawa juruje. Samje damje dunga mi be Dewa Dami Dewa Injuroje Semje Tamje Niri Shadan Lantrave Danyula Neba Injuroje Semje Tamje Dewa Dandeve Jodai and Dambarai Juruje Semje Damje Dunge Tandunge Ye Jodai Tawai Juruje Semje Damje Dunge Mebe Dewa Tami Dewa Juruje Semje tamje nyere chadan dan trawe danyula nebain juruje. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all beings rest know the supreme happiness which is beyond suffering. May all beings rest in miserable equanimity which is free from duality, attachments, hatreds, both near and far. So this is means that uh, we understand the Chamba and the Nyingje, compassion and benevolence or something like that. Nyingje is a kind of feeling that understanding of the suffering of all sentient beings, that we kind of bewildered and we have all kinds of problems that I and you have problems of that. And so then because of that, then the Dungal is called. Dungal is like Tibetan is Dungal, which is suffering, physical sufferings and the mental sufferings and all kinds of things involved. And we are lucky that we don't have so much physical sufferings right now, and we are just mentally is okay. And so there are lots of human beings, and there are lots of ascension to kind of lots of suffering of those things. So Dungal is called. Sanskrit is called the Tuka, almost close to Tibetan, Dungal. Tuka and Dungal, suffering. That's the whole issue about samsaric aspect of that suffering, Tuka, Dungal. And so that we, as meditators, as a Bodhisattva, Avalokiteshvara, Prabhupada, and imagine that we are kind of blessed from the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, and that, just kind of changed things, transformed our physical body, like even the mental state, mind of Bodhisattva, mind, the picture of a Bodhisattva, and very beautiful, and so on and so forth, and surrounding with the sons and daughters of ourselves, and surrounding with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, as you see that a beautiful picture of a Tanga. And then imagine that, then at the heart, there is a kind of, chakra, and so manifesting see the syllable, the letter T, that extended rays of light and come out beautiful things like Andes and lotus and six petals of lotus, Om Mani Padme Hum, that's the total thing. So imagine that, and then the concentrated light, sentient beings through and surrounding all that, starting with your own family, they will have to take care of the families is very, very important. So for this love, therefore we're karmically connected with that soul, therefore we may think about first thing that, and then extend it. All you need is all the extension of that attitude towards to all sentient beings, as treated as equally as possible, and a little of light, and it comes out light. Imagine that some of us just like to use a kind of light image. And some of them that understood that the knowledge is that way, that you can do. Your heart is full of joy, and the kind of a heart is your heart of all mankind, all sentient beings, and a blessing by the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, something like that, and just maintain for the time being a little bit together. So that is a meditation that developing consciousness of compassion, to boundless compassion for Simchen Tamche. Simchen Tamche, you remember Simchen Tamche is all sentient beings. So the boundless, human beings are, of course, that important beings, Then besides that, Avalokiteshvara is basically interested in those lower realms. Was sentients who are helplessly it's born that according to their karma or whatever. Some of them born in the air, some of them born in the water, and the fire, and is all kinds of things, and then it becomes their kind of they're naked and they're just going like for example in the water ocean. That's everybody was there's no clothing wearing on. Everything's naked. They eat each other, by their mouth, and they, consuming big, small ones, buy bigger ones, so on and so forth. And that sort of thing is lower realms, and it's whatever you can think about it, lower realms, and so they extended through that a lot of light, powerful lights, and so very bright light to wake them up, to dissolve them, and to transcend into the better life. And so those things are the important thing to do. But so there is throughout the space and all the way extended beautiful lights, right? And then we can say recitation of the manis or mani padme hum. That is very powerful. The sound that carries all everywhere. Imagine that. So let us say some mani padme hum, little bit together. Om mani padme hum, 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 mani. Oh, mani padme hum, 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 mani padme. Money bemo, 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 money bemo. So imagine that the human beings, lower human beings, they're hungry and there's no place to stay, and they, plus they are sick and crippled, and there are lots of people there, and at the hospital that they have so many human beings suffering, and so imagine that, and then you go around the lower realms, animal realms, your dog, your cat, and the ocean, there is a lot of sentient beings. So in the air, there's a lot of beings, and then in the body, there's cells of sentient beings are everywhere. That's penetrate because the light of the compassion of a Bodhisattva way. And imagine that it is all the time that penetrate. They're all sentient beings, regardless everything that's how you do it. And then you can try to remember that the Buddha, the Amitabha Buddha, that Amitabha Buddha is a wisdom Buddha, the guru. The guru is the teacher for Bodhisattva. And so the Bodhisattva also needs a teacher. So the teacher, this Amitabha Buddha. So then so you visualize it, that's that image there. However, that the wisdom aspect of all that I got the Buddhas, and so then imagine that Amitabha, that mantra of the mantra of the Om Amitabha, 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 Om Amitabha. Mama daughter, oh 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 mama. Mami Deoreo, 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 Mama Doreo, 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 Mama Oh Mama Dewaji. No matter that whatever comes to our life, Amitabha Buddha blessed us all the way through lifetimes. And we said Shakyamuni Buddha, who is very important for a being that super being that we needed remembering him. Oma mune mune ma muni Shakyamuni soha. Oma mune ma muni Shakyamuni soha. Oma mune ma muni Shakyamuni soha. Blessed us, Shakyamuni Buddha. Then the medicine Buddha, the medicine Buddha is so important, ancient Buddha, medicine Buddha, that always think about it. When you think about medicine Buddha, there is always a medicine Buddha with you. So the medicine Buddha, what is that to cure all our problems of inside and outside of problems of everything. Bekanje ma bekanje raja samangad. So bekanje ma bekanje raja samangad so ha bekanje ma bekanje raja samangad so ha. Then the Tathagata Buddha Sensible Heart Sutra. Theata gade gade para samungade Buddhe soha. Gade gade para samungade Buddhe soha. Gade para samungade Buddhe soha. That's the Heart Sutra's mantra. That is wisdom mantra soul. Then now next one is Lama Kunga Rinpoche is called. Panashawati is called. That's the force that we need today is mundane, the modern disease or whatever, man-created or chemicals, and then nature is kind of changing lots of pollutions that are bound to have when we inhale, so that we are sick. And so anyway, that Panashawati. Bishati Panashawari Shawatawari Pashamanayi Soha. Bishati Panashawari Shawatawari Pashamanayi Soha. Bishati Panashawari Shawatawari Pashamanayi Soha. Bless us. All diseases taken care of it. Tara, the green Tara, that Tara is so important for us. Tara protected us. All the fears of external fears and internal fears of death and all the lifetimes of whatever goes down. Bada is all the time try to remember that. Om Dari Tudari Duri Soha. Om Dari Tudari Duri Soha. Om Dari Tudari Duri Soha. Bless us. Of course, then there is the Manjushri. That the Manjushri is so important. Another, we needed to understand, educate ourselves. Now the Manjushri is cutting his holy sword. That is symbolically that cutting roots of ignorance, or the root of confusions and the misunderstandings of ourselves, and cut off that, and also then to the right, to the left side of, our right side of that is he's carrying a sculpture a book, and in that which implies that the knowledge that is, so that the knowledge is that what we're talking about all the time, meditation, that the truth, need more knowledge. So he's going to give you knowledge, Om Ara Bhajanati, Om Ara Bhajanati, Om Ara Bhajanati, Om Ara Bhajanati, Ara Bhajanati, Om Didi 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 Didi. And of course, there's also the information about Bhajan protection. And also Bhadrabani is at the time of the Buddha that he gave, he's the treasure of the knowledge of the teachings of all the secret teachings, that he's the charge of it. So he is the charge of that person or being that, and the protect as well as protecting all everything. So very important. Om Bhadrabani Hum, Om Bhadrabani Hum, Om Bhadrabani Hum, Om Bhadrabani Hum. Right. Then another important thing is another the blood disease that we have talking about, the Naga disease, and the Indian people are fear about it. And they know about some sort of underground kind of disease. And it's kind of another kind of disease, things that are created by human beings, or in it, and then all kind of disease. So that disease is taken care of. That this visualization of the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara riding or sitting on top of the lion. And this image is so important to visualize it. And then mantra is that Omari Singanada Humpe, Omari Singanada Humpe, Omari Singanada Humpe. So you recite that Omari Singanada Humpe. Then the next one is Singamukha, the lion-headed Dagini. Very, very important protection. And there's mantra is Akasamaraja Shadara Samara Yapet. Akasamaraja Shadara Samara Yapet. Akasamaraja Shadara Samara Yapet. Demon thoughts. Basically, that each of us has a, underneath of there is a demon thoughts. Negative thoughts and angry that arises from the misunderstanding of the anger, and so that is subjugated all the desire, passion, and greed, and ignorance, and anger, all those doja shedang dimuk. Doja is a desire, shedang is a dimuk. Shedang is hatred, dimuk is ignorance. Doja shedang dimuk is three poisons of inside of our mind. It's kind of temporarily mixed because of that. So overcome that everything that is very, very important in the practice, and those of you very, very special, but you have to learn it, these things, just as education, as you know that the name of the deity is Singdoma, lion-headed Dakini. So that's these things. And then finally we can dedicate it, our meditation with sharing merits to world peace and so compassion to everywhere. Then the conclusion of our prayers together. Chenamai de Jezawada Betu. Daso Kando Nebiye Sajosu. Nede Yobon Tabze Shiwa Tang. Choda dashi bewa zedo so. Dani jishin jewa tamje tu. Riksai lo se nga je mi pa tang. Ningji che shin lama la ku ne. Bande la me tamzi la ne sho. Jewa gendo yanda lama tang. Dami chuji belo long ju xing. Sada lam ji yonde rabzo ne. Dorje changi koban yurdo sho. Through the power of my practice and respect and praise, may all sentient beings benefit wherever they may be, cause and sickness and the violence, the poverty to subside, and may Dharma and the good omens ever increase. During this life and in all lifetimes, may I have a clear mind and a good trace without pride, respecting the teachings and having great compassion. May I bind with the glorious Lama continue. During all lifetimes, may I not be separated from Lamas. May I enjoy the glorious Dharma, having completely passed of a state of wisdom. May I quickly attain the state of Dorji Chang.